What's up, everyone? All right, so in this episode, I'm going to walk you through the 400% squeeze on PHVS from earlier this week. So I did a recap. Well, not really a recap, but I went over the trades yesterday on AM, which was the stock that squeezed up 1,000%, 978%. Well, actually, no, it did cross over 1,000. This was crazy. It closed on Thursday at, let's see, the low on Thursday or the close on Thursday was 41 cents, and it hit a high of $4.54 regular trading hours. This was wild. So, I went over the price action on this one because I thought this would be a good one. It kind of goes down in the record books just as a really monumental move. So I like to, document it and do a little recap so people can watch it later in the day, go over the price action. And someone said, "Hey, can you look at PHVS?" So I thought, all right, sure. And I have some time today. So this isn't exactly a recap specifically of my trades, more looking at the price action. I did bring up my trades on it here. So this was from Thursday, and I finished up 1,600 on the day after fees and commissions and about 1,400 on PHVS. Churned some shares, but made a little bit of money, which is fine. I'm kind of in a grind right now, which is why we're looking at my metrics here from my broker login and not from trader view, because I kind of, I was like, you know what? I don't want to get too fixated on looking at my trader view stuff right now. I just want to focus on, trading the charts. And sometimes when I get sort of too hyper focused on my metrics, I can get a little frustrated. Obviously, I had a fantastic hot streak, and it's been cold for me the last, the last month or so. But still profitable, just kind of grinding on really small numbers. So in any case, let's look at PHVS. Okay, so PHVS, so this was on Thursday. So I found PHVS on my gap scanner. So top gap scanner, Thursday morning, I log in and I see PHVS is squeezing higher. So let's see, PHVS, this one, so we knew that we had a shelf registration on it, which is something I was a little bit concerned about, the possibility that we would see a secondary offering. So a little bit of a risk factor there. I'm trying to remember. Let's look at the financials for a second. Shares. So number of outstanding shares, 33 million shares right there. So as it's on the gap scanner, gapping up 60, 70%, initially we see it had this really big move like right at 7 a.m., right? So news comes out, it pops up. But, this is typical of 7 a.m. The volume was very light. 13,000 shares, it pops up, it drops down. And so between 7 a.m. and about 8 a.m., we're in this period of consolidation. I took my first trade on this at $3.55, and that was based on, let's see, it was based on, actually, it wasn't this pullback. I think it was this pullback right here. I was buying off of the 20 moving average, which is this sort of cyan color blue line right down here. So I was buying off of that support right there, and it curls back up. It was a small winner for me. I took my profit. It then comes back down. It double bottoms. And we had just this sort of period where I was like, you know what? I don't know about this stock. It feels a little choppy. Like it just isn't feeling super clean. And so when it curled back up right here and broke through 70 and went only to 388, I just was like, man, this thing is feeling kind of sluggish. So it pulls back again, and in this area is below VWAP, and then it kind of starts to curl up. So right in this area, there was another trade, a pullback. Once it finally pulled away, I was like, okay, cool. I'll buy the first pullback. Now it's starting to move. This is interesting. So we got a little pullback on this candle here, and that gave us a move up to about 425. A little bit of resistance at that level, another period of consolidation, breaks through 425, squeezes up to 430, 440. Now we're starting to work with some momentum. So I was actively trading through this move up. My approach, as many of you guys know, is buying the first candle to make a new high, like on this type of setup here, or buying the break of pivots, like right in this area, or a breakthrough, even just high a day for a quick scalp trade. So another pullback, a move higher. Notice 1, 2, 3, 4 topping tails as we got into this area. So this is where it was starting to feel a little top heavy going into 8:30, and we sell off back down towards volume weighted average price. And then you'll see right at the open, we end up seeing this. There's the open, and it's selling off. And I'm like, you know what? This is just typical. It's just choppy. But boy, despite a high volume red candle at the open, a couple of them, it ends up squeezing up here pretty nicely up to a high of 5. All right, so you get that squeeze there up to 5, but it could not break $5. There was just hard resistance at that level. And, you know, for those that were watching it on the 10-second chart, it tapped 5 a couple times. Like, it looked like it wanted to go, and then it dropped down. It looked like it wanted to go, and then it dropped down. It actually hit a high of 501. It broke, and then that was the rejection. And so I think there were some traders that took a short off of that level, the $5 resistance. Not that it was really based on anything on the daily specifically. There wasn't any clear resistance except for the 200 moving average, but note how it went right to the 200 and then faded off that level. So that was the important level. In any case, it goes up to 5, pulls back, goes back below VWAP. And at that point, it's 11 a.m. I'm like, all right, I made my money on it. I'm done. So I walk away. Had some things to do. I didn't catch that move. So look at that. Boom, straight into a halt going up. So let's look at that on the 1-minute chart. It's selling off. It's below VWAP. So right here, it gets back above VWAP, and it's a trap. It's above VWAP, and then it flushes back below VWAP. That is bearish. That really is bearish. Okay, now we're coming back up here. We're back above VWAP. We're like at VWAP, but this time we're holding above it. And then watch that 450 level. That's the high right here of this candle, 452. All right, so we've got 452. And now we start to pull away a little bit up to 460 and then up to 480. So now it's showing, you look at the volume the volume bars, you've got some bigger volume. Now it's starting to pop up a little bit. It's pulling away from VWAP, and naturally traders are looking at that pre-market high of 5. But notice the candle wicks and some big candles here where it's popping up and then dropping back down. So this area is still relatively choppy, and then all of a sudden here, it slams into a halt going up. I didn't see that coming. You know, it just all of a sudden halts up. I don't know. Someone took a, I mean, it was hovering. So what I can say that's bullish about it, this is a pattern where you've got your pre-market high, or your high a day at 5, which is a natural kind of magnet. It's sold off, and now it's curled up, held VWAP, and it's starting to pull away. So stair step up once right here, pull back, and then the high of that level is 482. And when it broke 482, you can tell there must have been a combination of some heavy buyers looking for the breakthrough 5, which is an aggressive trade because I could have easily seen it double topping and then rejecting. But there were enough buyers and then short sellers covering, I guess. We squeeze into 578 and we hauled up. It opens higher. It hits a high of 671 and then drops in this candle all the way down to 541. $1 a share in 2 minutes. Then it comes back up, pulls back, breaks through 7, dips down, and then over 7 into a second halt at 818. That is a very bullish pattern right there. This is, it's almost a cup and handle pattern. So first of all, on the open, this wouldn't have been a good one for a dip and rip because it opened at like 650. It dipped hard. It came back up to 650 and then it made a new low. So you could have taken that trade and even lost on it. Maybe made money if you were really quick, but it wasn't an easy one. Then we come back up. You could have taken a trade on the long through the new highs, which is sometimes where shorts would stop out. But in this market, they seem to keep adding. So in any case, you get that move higher. And then this right there is like a mini handle off of a cup. And the break, this now gets you set up so you could be entering right here with a stop at the low of this red candle, which means you've got to stop at like 695 and you're in at 7 or 705. It ends up squeezing up there all the way $1 a share to 818. And it was at 12:30 lunch hour. I wish I had seen it. I wish I could have traded it, but I was out. I had already locked up my profit. Now, for what it's worth, my goal with trading, I mean, trading is appealing to me for a lot of reasons. One is the ability to earn money without having a 9-to-5 job or regular boss. But the other, there's a lot of jobs where you can earn money on your own time. You could drive for Uber, right? But to make good money, you've got to drive a lot. So with trading, I found that I can make pretty good money trading for like 2 to 3 hours a day from 7 a.m. till about 11 a.m. And, averaging over the course of the year, I can do pretty well. So I I really like the fact that I can get a lot of time back in my day to do other things that I want. Now, sometimes when we have big moves like this, I'll feel a little FOMO that, oh, I could have made a lot more money if I'd kept trading, but it's a trade-off of time versus money. And, you just have to make that decision for yourself. So the market's open, you could still trade, but some people like to just be grateful for the couple $1,000s they've made and enjoy the rest of the day. So anyways, my daily goal is 5,000. I was coming up short on it on this particular day. And really the big action was a little bit later in the morning. Okay, so PHVS, it squeezes up here. So we look at this, it halts. And then it opens and hits a high of, what was the high here? 885, and then sells off pretty hard. Now we're bear flagging. We pop up, we go lower, and then we start basing out, again, off our blue 20 moving average. And then it starts to pull away a little bit here, starting to stair step back up. And now, once again, we've got this high as like a mental target, 885. And what ends up happening, this is a false breakout here. It pops up, and then it flushes down. It goes up to 853, and then it drops all the way down to 733. I can guarantee you there are long bias traders who took that trade right there and who lost money on the stock that's up 400%. Probably seeing red. That would make me super frustrated. And then look at this, son of a gun. It comes back up not 5 minutes later. It's squeezing through the high. So what do? Do you get back in at the same place you just stopped, we're in, and then cut the loss, took the loss? I don't know. Sometimes I will. And usually when I do, I go with smaller size just because you don't want to back-to-back losses on the same setup. But in this case, it rips, it holds. And then you've got a pullback here, which is a possible entry at about 950. That sends it up to 10, micro pullback, halts up just under 12. That marks the high of day. Wow, what a move. Oh, I'm sorry, it came back up a little bit higher. So it came back up, this was after hours. So it ended up closing strong, doing a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders, and then coming back up. And I remember this. So that candle there, I mean, these are candles where, in 1 minute, when you have 2 points of range, you can get smoked. This can be a very risky trade, but you know what? I think the easy trades on this were certainly earlier in this move when we were still squeezing up. Sometimes I'll put MACD on my chart, which you guys have seen. So we'll put MACD on here. So I like to focus my trades generally when the MACD is above the signal line. So that's going to be basically from this area to that area. This area, I'm not trading it as much. This area, we're kind of going sideways, not that interested. So right in here, we start to cross back over. So even if you weren't looking at the chart at all, the areas we'd be looking at would be from here to about here, just based on MACD. The moving averages diverging, pulling apart from here to here, through this area here, right? I just find that especially in a bearish market, it helps me get a little bit more kind of clarity of, is this really the range I want to be trading in? And you notice a lot of these spikes are when you're kind of in this consolidation range, and it looks like it's starting to break out, and then it fakes you out. So waiting for it to actually break out and then buying the first pullback following the breakout, although you're paying the price of a higher entry, right now feels like it comes with a little bit more confirmation. So that was PHVS. Now, if you thought that was interesting, you better tune in for my next brief review, which will be on SMMT, and we're going to be looking at the squeeze that this had. This was pretty epic. So we got, this was some wild action. This thing was really moving quickly. So I'll save that for the next episode. I'm going to record it right now. All right, so make sure you tune in for that. A reminder, as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so make sure you take it slow and practice in a simulator before you put real money on the line.